I thought I had built the perfect life, stable job, loving wife, and dreams of starting a family. But sometimes, betrayal doesn't come crashing in, it seeps into your life like poison, disguised as love. I didn't know the woman I shared my bed with was hiding a secret so cruel it would tear my heart apart. She wasn't just unfaithful, she was carrying another man's child. And the worst part? The man was someone from her past I thought she had buried forever. This isn't just a story of infidelity, it's about what happens when trust dies and truth refuses to stay hidden. From the outside, my life looked solid. I had a decent career that kept us comfortable, a small home we'd worked hard to buy, and a wife I believed was my partner in every sense. We'd been married for 4 years, and like most couples, we had our ups and downs. But I believed we were strong enough to weather anything. She was my anchor, or so I thought. We met when we were both still trying to figure out our futures, young, hopeful, and hungry for love. She had this charm, a spark that lit up a room. People gravitated to her, but I always felt special because she chose me. She used to say I made her feel safe, and I clung to that. Safety was what I thought love was built on. Our life together was simple but fulfilling. Sunday mornings with coffee and quiet conversations. Evenings spent watching shows we have paid attention to, while her head rested against my shoulder. I thought those little things were the foundation of forever. But shadows have a way of creeping in unnoticed. Little changes in her behavior, things I brushed off, were the earliest signs of cracks forming. She started working late more often, scrolling through her phone at odd hours, laughing quietly at texts I never saw. At first, I chalked it up to stress. After all, relationships don't stay in the honeymoon phase forever. I told myself she needed space. Still, something felt off. She seemed distant, like her body was in the room, but her heart was somewhere else. I'd ask if she was okay, and she'd give me vague answers, just tired, or work's been rough. I believed her because trust was second nature to me. Then came the talk about children. I'd been ready for a while, imagining what it would feel like to hold our baby, to create something that was ours. But whenever I brought it up, she hesitated. She'd say the timing wasn't right, or we should wait until things settled at work. I listened, trying to be patient. What I didn't realize was that her hesitation wasn't about timing. It was about me. The unraveling began slowly, almost imperceptibly, until the truth was too big to ignore. One night, she came home later than usual. Her hair was slightly undone, her perfume faint but lingering, and her smile forced. She avoided eye contact, retreating quickly to the shower. I sat there, staring at the front door long after she'd closed it, my gut twisting. Something about her silence screamed louder than words. Over the next weeks, my suspicions grew. I noticed how protective she became of her phone, how she tilted the screen away whenever I walked by. Her laughter sounded different, less like joy, more like a secret being shared. She had become a stranger in my own house. Then, the most unexpected news dropped. She told me she was pregnant. For a moment, my heart soared. After all those conversations about waiting, I thought maybe she had changed her mind. Maybe this was the miracle we'd been waiting for. I wrapped her in my arms, tears pricking my eyes, feeling grateful for a new chapter. But beneath that joy, something gnawed at me. Her expression wasn't pure happiness, it was laced with something else. Fear, maybe? Guilt? At the time, I didn't want to believe it. I forced myself to see only what I wanted to see. Weeks passed, and while I tried to embrace fatherhood, the unease inside me grew. Little details began to surface. A friend casually mentioned seeing her in town with a man I didn't know, their conversation too intimate to be innocent. She brushed it off as a misunderstanding, insisting it was just a coworker. I wanted to trust her, but deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Then I stumbled upon it, the message that shattered me. Her phone, left unattended for once, buzzed with a notification. I shouldn't have looked, but curiosity mixed with dread pushed me. The message read, "I still can't believe you're carrying my child. I love you." My world stopped. The name on the screen wasn't just any man, it was her ex, the one she had sworn was nothing but a closed chapter. The man she once claimed had broken her heart, the one she promised never to see again. And now he wasn't just back in her life, he had left his mark inside her. My knees buckled as the weight of the truth crashed down. The child she carried wasn't mine. The future I had imagined was nothing but an illusion. She had betrayed me in the cruelest way possible by giving the most sacred part of herself back to someone she swore she had left behind. Confrontation wasn't planned, it erupted, raw and uncontrollable. When I showed her the message, her face drained of color. Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. She tried to explain, to twist words into excuses, but the truth was already carved into my chest. She admitted it. She confessed she had reconnected with him months ago, during a period when she claimed she felt unseen. While I was working overtime to build our life, she sought comfort in the arms of someone who had once shattered hers. And now she carried his child, not mine. The betrayal wasn't just about sex. It was about everything I had believed in: trust, loyalty, the sanctity of our marriage. I had sacrificed time, energy, and pieces of myself to give us a future, only to be left with a cruel joke of fate. The climax wasn't loud. There were no screaming matches, no dramatic fights. It was quiet, almost eerily so. She wept, begged for forgiveness, swore it was a mistake. But I couldn't hear her anymore. My heart was too busy breaking, shattering into fragments I couldn't piece back together. I remember staring at her, the woman I had once seen as my forever, and realizing she was gone. The person I had loved no longer existed. What stood before me was a stranger who had gutted my soul. The house felt colder after that night. Every corner echoed with memories that now felt like lies. The baby she carried grew each day, a constant reminder of the life I would never have, the family I would never call mine. And in that silence, in the wreckage of trust, I made my choice. I walked away. Not because I wanted to, but because staying meant erasing myself. Leaving her was the hardest decision I've ever made, but also the only one that made sense. Betrayal doesn't just break trust, it rewrites everything you thought you knew about love, about partnership, about yourself. I realized that sometimes, the people we give our hearts to aren't capable of protecting them. Sometimes, love isn't enough to stop someone from reopening old wounds with people who never truly left their past. I moved out, started over, and rebuilt my life piece by piece. It wasn't easy. Nights felt longer, and loneliness pressed against me like a weight. But slowly, I began to heal. I learned that my worth wasn't tied to her choices or her lies. Her life took a different turn. She kept the baby, and I heard through whispers of mutual friends that she struggled more than she expected. Maybe it was karma, maybe just the reality of her decisions. Either way, it was no longer my burden to carry. This story isn't about revenge, it's about survival. It's about understanding that betrayal doesn't define you. What defines you is how you rise from it, how you reclaim your dignity when someone tries to strip it away. So I ask you this. When trust is broken beyond repair, do you cling to the wreckage, or do you walk away to save yourself? Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is let go.